Hello, may I ask you your name?
Yeah, Tony Davis.
Tony Davis. I'm looking into your garden and you have old cars here.
Yep.
What's the theme here? What's going on?
Well, yeah, well, indeed. Well, it started in a small way many years ago with an MGB, which was a car I used every day. And it's got me interested in classic sports cars, mainly British ones.
Yeah.
And mainly from the 50s and the 60s.
And this one here,
this one here is a project, and it's a replica of a Jaguar D-Type, which raced at Le Mans in the 1950s.
But the Jaguar didn't have the fin.
They did have the fin on some of them. They got up to such speeds on the Mulsanne Straight that they needed that for stability. That was added for stability. This is one of the first cars that was ever designed mathematically for aerodynamics.
Okay.
There was a guy at Jaguar that had been working in aircraft design, and he understood aerodynamics. Very few people in the car industry did do at that time.
And is it still going, or is it broken down?
No, it will work, but it's never been properly finished. It's actually based on something else. It's actually the body is built on something else.
Yeah. It looks beautiful.
So yeah, I mean, it's
what we can see.
Yeah. They were a very slippery shape for aerodynamic reasons.
Yeah. And what else cars do you have here?
Well, this one is very rare. This is these were like a kit car, a component car from the early 60s. It's called a Falcon Caribbean. Again, that's a project that needs to be. Well, it needs a lot of work. It's literally just a body plonked on a chassis at the moment, not even connected.
It has no motor.
It has a motor, but not the one I'm going to keep in there. The motor in there is seized, and I've got a better one to put in.
Yeah. And this one here, I have heard that brand, Lotus.
Lotus, yeah.
I know.
Yeah. That's a Lotus Elan. That's from the late 60s.
Whoa! What is that?
It's another Austin Healey, like the one under the shelter.
Yeah. So what do I see here?
Well, where do I start?
What is the yellow one?
The yellow one is another Falcon, like the green one in the garden. Well, it's completely different, but it's the same company. It's a different model from the same company, Falcon.
Yeah. Okay. And behind that, 42.
Yeah, that's a little Austin racing car.
Yeah. It's very dark.
That, I believe, was made in the 1960s, but it's made like a 1930s, and it's got 1930s mechanics from an Austin 7.
Oh, and that is an MG.
MG.
I know that brand.
Yep, MGTD. 1953, I think. Yeah.
It's you can't put more in it here.
No, there's too much. So this is a rare car. This is a Turner.
Oh.
They made less than 700 of these near Birmingham in the 50s and early 60s. And
beautiful.
Mostly exported to America, but they're very light, and they did quite well in racing because of that.
Yeah.
They're not very powerful, but because they were so light and manoeuvrable, they did very well in racing against much bigger cars sometimes.
And then we have a very little car here.
Yeah.
I would say a funny car.
Yes. It's got a little motorcycle engine, but it is actually quite fast. I've never had that properly running. There was a race series for those in America and sometimes here as well. So
it was a pleasure to meet you.
Okay.
Very, very kind of you.
The best one's behind you.
Oh, I can't see it. It's covered. Wait a second. Yeah. Okay.
Just show you a bit of it. This is the back end. This is a Jaguar E-Type from the 60s. Yeah.
Really? I'm not into cars.
But you should have heard of an E-Type.
I know.
Everybody knows
I
Jaguar E-Type.
I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Working condition?
It was. I haven't used it for some years. It needs recommissioning again.
Yeah.
I rebuilt it, so everything was redone.
Yeah.
And improved the engine.
I think the most beautiful part of this car, which we can't see now, is the front.
The front,
of course.
yes, unfortunately.
There's the character.
Yeah. No, they are beautiful cars. Yeah.
You aren't afraid of car thieves?
I think if they could get them started, they'd be good luck, you know.
I won't mention your address.
No.
Thank you very much.
Okay, it's fine.
That's a good story here.
Yeah.
So your dog, how old is she?
She is 7 years old.
Oh, that's not an old dog.
No. And her name is Bella.
Bella,
Bella.
the beauty.
Yes, the beauty. Yeah.
And she was a racing dog?
Yes, she was a racing dog. Yeah. She had a very good record.
Was she a racing dog when you owned her?
No. I had Bella when she retired from racing.
You bought her?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a nice girl.
Good girl. Good girl.
Bella, come here.
Look, Belle.
Come here.
Go on, Belle.
Yeah.
Good girl.
There she is. Good.
Good
And you
girl.
have been to Germany, haven't you?
Look at the camera, Belle. Yes, I used to work for a German company
Yeah.
that were based in Bielefeld, which I think is Westphalia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
North
Yeah.
Rhine-Westphalia. North Rhine-Westphalia.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
was your job?
Sorry.
What was your job?
I sold printing and packaging equipment,
Yeah.
and I worked for a German company called Fischer and Krecker. They were a very famous manufacturer of printing presses.
Okay. And how does it come that you worked in Germany?
No, I was their agent here in the UK. I sold their machinery here in the UK.
Yeah. And will you join tonight the VE Day? Will you go outside?
I shall go out later. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it a celebration that is every year?
This one is a special year because it's 80 years since the end of the Second World War. Now we're friends.
Our hearts are broken with images of lives lost and torn apart by grief. Their countless faces for the world to see. We pray and end the violence and listen.
Peter, how important is the memory of the victory over the Nazis still today after 80 years?
I think it's necessary that we remember the war because of all the sacrifices and all the people who lost their lives, the people who struggled during those 5.5 years. I don't think we look upon it so much, at least in this community, as being a victory over the Nazis. I think they see it as an end to the war, and the important thing was that the war was ended. I mean, as we know, the world today is a much more complicated place, and there are all sorts of things going on that we don't like. And those, to some extent, are much more important to us because they're current. The war is important because it was the last big war, conflagration across the world. And we must, all of us, I think very seriously how we can avoid war and secure peace going forward. I don't know how we do that, but that's very important to us all, I think.
Yeah. I never met British people that hate Germans.
I think society has changed during the 80 years.
Yeah.
I mean, many of us, myself included, would know that my parents and grandparents did not like Germans. They were quite antagonistic towards Germans. We've grown up knowing that not all Germans were Nazis, not all Germans were in favour of war. Many Germans lost their lives in the war, just in the same as the UK did. And I think we've got a much more balanced view about that relationship today. I don't think we like them at football.
Very good. In my perception, the Germans said after the war, this must never happen again. Now I hear more and more voices calling for it. Enough with the culture of remembrance. Do you think it is enough to be ashamed? For us Germans.
Yes. I think it's. I think there are. It's very difficult for us looking at Germany to know what people were thinking, what people are thinking. Do they think the Nazis were all wrong? Do they think the Nazis were not Germans? How does that all work? And I think there is perhaps anxiety in some of us that, to what extent are the Germans really fully understood the horror of what was caused and the difficulties that it's left the world with. But I mean, you look, for example, at what's going on in Russia, and Russia is equally doing awful things, in much the same way that Germany did. And Russia was one of our allies, so I think we're sort of a bit confused still on that one.
Peter, thank you very much.
Okay, fine, thank you. Well, I hope that's been of use. So, but
Cheers.